Hi folks, in this series of tutorials, I will be running through use of Microsoft Access Database in project tracking. In my experience working with different organizations, both as a client and as a contractor, I have set up systems to monitor projects. Each system and tracking database will be different for every organization, but in this series of tutorials I will be going through what I set up for a contractor. This database is set up for small contractors, who sometimes may not have enterprise software to track projects. The Microsoft Access Database is easy to use once the background is set up correctly. In the following slides, the major steps in project tracking will be discussed with how the database was set up to handle the process. The basic project tracking flow happens in the following stages. 1. Request for quotation. 2. Submission of quote or tender. 3. Issuing of purchase order. 4. Execution of task. 5. Submission of invoice. 6. Project completion and handover. The stages may vary and take different forms for each organization, depending on the setup. Each stage of the project tracking flow is explained in the following slides. Normally, blanket agreement with the client and the contractor is always established prior. It's called service order agreement. In there, major binding agreements are put in place, including rates for labor, equipment, and materials. When the RFQ is sent by the client, the contractor receives it and registers it on the project tracking database via the new RFQ form. The RFQ is also converted into a project file. Depending on the requirements of the RFQ, the contractor reviews the scope and provides quote to the client. The project tracking database is updated accordingly. Once the client is satisfied with the quote, a purchase order is issued to the contractor. When the contractor receives the PO, it records the details on the database. When purchase order is issued to the contractor organizes resources to carry out the work. The project tracking database is set up to track the daily progress of the projects. Daily diary including labor and machine hours and materials used can be tracked. The labor, equipment and materials have rates registered in the project tracking database from which costs can be easily generated. Invoicing can be done on the payment schedule agreed. There can be multiple invoices totaling up to the amount agreed on the purchase order. The type on information updated on the database will vary, depending on the requirement for the organizations. When project is completed successfully to the client's satisfaction, the project is closed out. Normally certificate of completion is jointly signed. From the project tracking database, daily reports, cost reports, summary of invoice and other reports can be generated. The type of reports can be tailor-made to suit specific needs. This is only the introduction to the project tracking flow. In the subsequent videos, I will discuss how to maneuver through the database.